Now let us solve this example. An iron ball of mass 3 kg is released from a height of 125 meter and falls freely to the ground. Assuming that the value of g, means acceleration due to gravity, is 10 meter per second square, calculate first time taken by the ball to reach the ground. Second, velocity of the ball on reaching the ground. Third, the height of the ball at half the time it takes to reach the ground. Now let us solve one by one. First we have to write the things which are given here. So write down given things. So given is that the mass of the ball m, it is equal to 3 kg. Next to that we have given the information that ball is released, so initial velocity u is equal to 0 meter per second. Then next we have given the height of the ball, means the distance covered by the ball, s is equal to 125 meter. Now value of g is also given there. G is equal to 10 meter per second square. Three equations of the motion. First is v is equal to u plus at. Second is s is equal to ut plus 1 half at square. And third one is v square is equal to u square plus twice s. Choose that equation in which only one unknown is for us. So in second equation we have only one unknown, that is t. We know s, value of s, we know value of initial velocity, we have know the a, means acceleration due to gravity, and we have to count t, means choose that equation which have only one unknown. So let us choose that equation, which is second equation of motion. S is equal to ut plus 1 half at square by the second equation of the motion. So therefore now the value of s is 125 is equal to, now initial velocity u is equal to 0, so 0 into t plus 1 half into g t square. So a is equal to z, acceleration is equal to acceleration due to gravity. Therefore 125 is equal to 0 into t, that is 0, plus 1 half into value of g, that is 10, and into t square. Now therefore, so we have to divide, 2 1 is 2 and 2 5s are 10. Therefore 5 into t square is equal to 125, and therefore t square is equal to 125 divided by 5, and that is 25. Now taking square root on both the sides, t is equal to 5. Let us take positive value, because time taken is not negative, it is always positive. So t is equal to 5, means what? The answer of first question, that is time taken by the ball to reach the ground, is 5 seconds. Okay, now next we have to find out the velocity of the ball when it reached the ground. So think that which equation of motion will be useful here. V is equal to u plus at. We have to count final velocity, means v. So we have two choices, v is equal to u plus at and v is equal to u square plus twice as. Now We can choose any one choice because v is equal to u plus at. There is also one unknown for us, and v square is equal to u square plus twice as. There is also one unknown for us. So let us take first equation of the motion, that is v is equal to u plus at. So let us take first v is equal to u plus at. Now again u is equal to 0, therefore v is equal to 0 plus. Now take a as g. A is equal to g. Here the value of t, that is 5. Therefore is equal to v is equal to 0 plus 5g, that is 5g. Therefore v is equal to 5 into value of g, that is 10. Therefore v is equal to 5 into 10, that is 50 meter per second. That is the velocity of the ball when it reached the ground. 50 meter per second. Now next we have to find the height of the ball at half the time, means 2.5 second. At the 2.5 second, height of the ball from the ground. So which equation is useful here? Think about given three equations. V is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus 1 half at square, v square is equal to u square plus twice s. We have to find the time, half time. We have to find the height of the ball at half time. So therefore we have to find s. So in the given three equations, second equation is useful again. So let us count. S is equal to ut plus 1 half at square. Now we have to take time as a half of total time, that is 2.5 seconds. Remember that. Therefore s is equal to u, that is initial velocity, is 0, into t, that is time taken, is 2.5. So plus 1.5 into a means acceleration due to gravity, into t square means square of 2.5. So 0 into 2.5, that is 0, plus 1 upon 2 into 10 into square of 2.5, that is 6.25. It is equal to. So divide 2 1 is 2 and 2 5s are 10. S is equal to 5 into 6.25, that is 31.25 meters. So total height is 125 meter. Now distance covered by the falling ball from the point at height 125 meter. Let us understand it. Now the ball is here and this is a ground or ground surface. Now it is falling downwards. Now at the height half time, it reached the height from the upper point is 31.25. Now we have to find the remaining distance or the height from the ground, means we have to find this distance, and total distance is 125. So we have to subtract 31.25 from 125. So height of the ball at half time. Height of the ball at half time, it is equal to 125 minus 31.25. 125 minus 31.25. Second example, a tennis ball is thrown up and reaches a height of 4.05 meter before coming down. What was its initial velocity? How much total time will it take to come down? Assume that g means gravitational acceleration is equal to 10 meter per second square. Now first we have to write what information given to us. We have given that ball is thrown up, means ball is thrown in upward direction. It is in the opposite direction of acceleration due to gravity. So value of g must be taken as negative. It reaches a certain height of 4.05 meter. So ball is reached the maximum height 4.05 meter. Final velocity of the ball, it reaches a certain height, and then final velocity of that ball is means v is equal to 0 meter per second. Then value of g, it is negative 10 meter per second square. Then we have to count now initial velocity u, initial velocity of the ball, and we have to also count how much time taken to come down. So we have to count here the time taken by the ball to come down. V square is equal to u square plus twice s. Now put the known values, that is v is equal to 0. We have to count initial velocity u plus 2 into a means acceleration due to gravity g into s. S is given here, s is equal to 4.05 meter. Therefore 0, it is equal to u square plus 2 into, now value of g is negative 10 into s means 4.05. Therefore 0, it is equal to u square minus, now 2 into 10 into 4.05. Do the calculation. So after calculation it is 81. Therefore u square is equal to 81. Taking square root to the both the sides, you will get u is equal to, taking positive square root, that is u is equal to 9 meter per second. So initial velocity of that ball is 9 meter per second. Now let us solve second question, that how much total time will it take to come down? While ball is coming down, its direction is in the direction of acceleration due to gravity g. Therefore, the value of acceleration due to gravity should be taken as positive. Now, which equation should be used here? Let us think. Now, from that second equation, that is s is equal to ut plus 1 half at square, is the appropriate equation. So let us use it. S is equal to ut plus 1 half at square. Now put the known values. So distance covered by ball, or maximum height covered by ball, is 4.05. So while it comes down, it should cover the distance of 4.05 meter. Therefore S is equal to 4.05. It is equal to, now while ball is coming down, it's reached at maximum height, and at maximum height its initial velocity is 0. So u is equal to 0 now, and t, we have to calculate t, plus 1 half into a means acceleration due to gravity, g into t square. Therefore 4.05, it is equal to 0 into t, that is 0, plus 1 half into 10. Why we are using here positive 10? Because the ball is coming down, so direction of ball is to center of the earth, means in the direction of acceleration due to gravity. So value of g should be taken as positive into t square. Therefore now divide 10 by 2, so 2 1 is 2 and 2 5s are 10. Therefore 5 t square is equal to 4.05. Therefore t square, it is equal to 4.05 upon 5. So 0 point. So 5 8s are 40 and 5 1 is 1. The t square is equal to 0.81. Now taking square root on both the sides, what we get here? So taking square root on both the sides, t is equal to 0.9 seconds. We have to take positive square root only because time is always positive. So t is equal to 0.9 second. That's the answer of the second question. Now let us learn gravitational potential energy. Previously we have learned about potential energy. The energy stored in an object because of its position or state is called as potential energy. It is a surface of earth and the object is at certain height. So object is at height h from the earth's surface. Now this is the position of that object, or this is the state of the object, and due to that position, due to that state, a certain type of energy is stored into it, and that energy is called as potential energy. Okay, this is a relative concept, and this energy, potential energy, increases as we go greater height. So as we increase the height of the object from the earth's surface, its potential energy grade increases. Now we know that potential energy of an object is mgh, where m is the mass of the object, g is acceleration due to gravity, and h is the height of that object. Let us see in the figure. So object is at a certain height from the earth's surface. Okay, this is object which is at certain height from the earth's surface. Now mass of the object is m, and at the certain height the acceleration due to gravity acting on that body is g. Height of the object from the earth's surface is H. So mgh is the formula for calculation of potential energy of an object. So let us think potential energy when object is present on the ground. When object is present on the ground means here. So object is now on the ground. So here is that object which is present on the ground. What is the height from the surface? So height from the surface is 0. H is equal to 0. So potential energy is equal to mgh, mass m into g into h is 0, and therefore potential energy when object present on the ground is 0. Now in the second case, we have to calculate potential energy for a small height. So for very small height, the value of g is does not changes. So value of g on the surface of the earth is same as value of g at very small height. So formula of potential energy is mgh, and therefore g does not changes on the surface of the earth. G remains constant, rather than the height is changes. Certainly height is changes in very small extent, but g is constant here. Let us see third case. Potential energy for infinite height. So now object is at infinite height, at large height. Now object is at infinite height or at large height. So for infinite height, or h is equal to infinity, h is equal to infinity. Now we know that the value of g is depends on the distance of the object from the earth's surface. But when this height is greater and greater, or it is infinity, then value of g is 0 there. So value of g is 0 there when object is at infinite distance. So formula for PE is mgh, mass is constant but value of g is 0 here, and so h is the height. But certainly when value of g is 0, potential energy is 0. Therefore when object is at infinite height, potential energy is 0. So remember that either either the object is on the ground, or either the object is from for infinite heights from the earth's surface, potential energy is 0. Thus for smaller distances, that is heights, the potential energy is less than 0, that is it is negative. This means that the object to be free from the gravity of the earth, it has to reach infinite distances from the earth. That is, the object will come to rest at infinite distances and will stay there. When an object is at height h from the surface of the earth, potential energy Remember this formula, potential energy is equal to negative G into M upon R plus H, where G is the gravitational constant, capital M is the mass of the earth, small m is the mass of the object, and upon R, capital R is the radius of the earth, and plus H, H is the height of the object.